clubs pause once again in the midst of their pennant races for the annual All-Star Game. Scene of the 1956 contest, 23rd of the series, is Griffith Stadium in the nation's capital. And for the first time in All-Star history, the game is dedicated to the memory of an individual, Clark C. Griffith, late owner of the Washington Club and one of baseball's greatest pioneers. He built the stadium that provides the backdrop for the day's brilliant action. Only 29,000 will be able to jam their way into the ballpark, but that's a mere segment of the millions of fans who will be watching the Dream Game on television or listening to radio accounts across the length and breadth of our land, in the Caribbean countries, and even overseas, wherever our armed forces happen to be located. The best talent of the two leagues is assembled here, the most powerful sluggers and the most brilliant pitchers in the National and American Leagues can muster. Cameramen are here to perpetuate the scene with pictures that will become fond memories in years to come. Some players, such as Bob Friend, the Pittsburgh star, make their own movies. Warren Giles, president of the National League, is on hand early, chatting with some of his players. The National League has won 5 of the last 6 games, but still trails the American League 13-9. Across the field is Will Harris, president of the American League. He has been head of the American League throughout the history of the All-Star Series, inaugurated in 1933. Commissioner Ford Frick is present with Mrs. Frick. The commissioner is in charge of the All-Star Game, even as he is of the World Series. And, of course, he's the #1 neutral. Ted Kluszewski, Cincinnati first baseman, who has hit 40 homers or more in each of the last 3 seasons, shows his mighty biceps. Then joins 2 other National League sluggers, Duke Snyder of Brooklyn and Stan Musial of the Cardinals, in pregame chatter. Here are 2 of the youngest power hitters of the rival circuits. Mickey Mantle, who belts homers from both sides of the plate for the Yankees. Mickey entered the All-Star Game as the Major League's home run king. Ed Bailey, Cincinnati catcher, who was one of 5 Redlegs voted into the starting lineup by the fans. This is the Big 4 of the American League, gathered for the 1956 Classic. Yogi Berra of the Yankees, Ted Williams of the Red Sox, Mantle of the Yankees, and Al Kaline of Detroit, who won the 1955 American League batting title at the age of 20, the youngest player ever to win this championship. Among the best of the more youthful hitters in the National League are Hank Aaron of the Braves and Ken Boyer, Cardinal third sacker. 2 National League veteran catchers, Roy Campanella of Brooklyn and Stan Lopata, the Phillies, talk things over. Campy won the National League Most Valuable Player Award for the 3rd time in 1955. Willie Mays, spectacular center fielder of the Giants, who won the 1955 Major League Homer title with 51, is back for another All-Star appearance along with a newcomer, first baseman Dale Long of Pittsburgh. Long had a sensational spring during which he shattered all records by hitting a homer in 8 consecutive games. Ernie Banks of the Cubs became the greatest home run hitting shortstop in baseball history when he pounded out 44 in 1955. Stan Musial of the Cardinals and Ed Matthews, the Braves' third baseman, give the National League tremendous southpaw power. Stan the Man, batting champion 6 times, also has been an outstanding figure in all-star play. He leads with 4 homers, the last one winning an 11-inning thriller for the National League in Milwaukee in 1955. Calvin Griffith, nephew of the late Clark Griffith, is the host at this 23rd All-Star Game as president of the Washington Club. The rival managers, of course, are Casey Stengel, who has piloted the Yankees to 6 pennants in the last 7 years, and Walter Smokey Alston, who is in his 3rd season as manager of the Dodgers. In 1955, Alston was the winning manager in the first World Series Stengel ever lost, since he took the Yankee reins in 1949. The field is cleared and the players line up along the baselines for the beginning of the flag-raising ceremony. The band swings through the middle of the field for the parade to the flagpole. Nothing could be more fitting than a flag raising at these games. For baseball is truly America's national sport, wherein every race, color, and creed is represented in a perfect expression of the democratic ideal. And the All-Star Game carries that out to the utmost degree. for this midsummer classic gives every star a chance, even if he's with a perennial second division club. He may never be fortunate enough to appear in a World Series, but the All-Star game gives him a day in the sun. With the flag raising over, the two managers are as eager to get the game underway as the spectators, who fill every available seat in the stand.
Now that's old school.
This is ESPN Classic.
There is an electric tension in the air that is exceeded only at World Series time. The starting pitchers have stepped up their warm-up pace. Billy Pierce, the stylish southpaw of the Chicago White Sox, will start for the American League for the third time in the last 4 years. He hasn't given up a run in 6 innings of all-star play. Bob Friend, key figure in the spectacular start of the Pittsburgh Pirates in the 1956 season, will open for the National League. And here are the starting lineups. For the National League, Johnny Temple, Cincinnati, second base. Frank Robinson, Cincinnati, left field. Stan Musial, St. Louis, right field. Ken Boyer, St. Louis, third base. Gus Bell, Cincinnati, center field. Dale Long, Pittsburgh, first base. Ed Bailey, Cincinnati, catcher. Roy McMillan, Cincinnati, shortstop. Bob Friend, Pittsburgh, pitcher. For the American League, Harvey Keene, Detroit, shortstop. Nellie Fox, Chicago White Sox, second base. Ted Williams, Boston, left field. Mickey Mantle, New York Yankees, center field. Yogi Berra, New York Yankees, catcher. Al Kaline, Detroit, right field. Mickey Vernon, Boston, first base. George Kell, Baltimore, third base. Billy Pierce, Chicago White Sox, pitcher. The umpires discuss the ground rules with the managers. 6 umpires are assigned, with the 2 extra men posted down the foul lines. Commissioner Ford Frick gives the honor of throwing out the first ball to Clark Griffith II, 15-year-old grandnephew of Clark Griffith, to whose memory the game is dedicated. And the 1956 All-Star game is underway. Pierce starts in brilliant fashion by striking out Temple. Boyer then gets the first hit of the game in the second inning with a single to center. But after 2 more strikeouts by Pierce, Boyer ends the inning as Berra throws him out in an attempted steal. After 1 out in the third inning, McMillan walks. Friend sacrifices Pierce to Nellie Fox, who covers first base. Temple singles to right center, and his red-leg sidekick, McMillan, scores the first run of the game, and the National League leads 1-0. After 2 out, Keene singles in the American League third. Fox also singles, and the American League threatens for the first time with a mighty Ted Williams at bat. However, Williams grounds out to Long, and Bob Friend closes his 3-inning pitching term with a 1-0 edge. Whitey Ford of the Yankees enters the game as the American League pitcher in the 4th inning. He opens by striking out Musial. But then Boyer signals for his second hit. That brings Willie Mays to the plate, batting for Gus Bell. And the New York Giants star slams a home run deep into the bleachers in left center to give the National League a lead of 3-0 in 4 innings. With 1 out in the last half of the 4th and Warren Spahn pitching, Temple makes a nice stop, a very slow roller behind second, but couldn't make a play. Cincinnati's second base combination comes through with another sparkling play when Temple darts to his right to spear Vernon's smash and flips the ball to McMillan for a fourth out. After the National League increases its margin to 4-0, Boyer helps preserve it with a sensational diving stop of Keene's sizzling drive and throws him out in the last half of the fifth. It was the second time he robbed Keene of a hit. Tom Brewer is pitching for the American League in the sixth inning. Ted Kluszewski greets him with a double off the bullpen fence in left field. Bailey flies to Williams, who comes in fast for the ball. McMillan's little looper falls just out of Vernon's reach for a single, and Kluszewski stops at third base. Kluszewski scores a moment later on a wild pitch, and the National League has built up a 5-0 margin. Opens the sixth inning for the American League with a single. There is immediate activity in the National League bullpen as Johnny Antonelli begins warming up. Williams is up for the second time. And there it goes, a tremendous homer to right center. It's a 440-foot blast into the bullpen, and Ted trots home behind Nellie Fox for the first two American League runs to make it 5-2. It's homer number 4 in All-Star play for Williams, and he thereby ties Musial for most home runs in these All-Star classes. Mickey Mantle follows with another home run, a line shot into the front rows of the bleachers in left center, and the American League followers in the crowd rock the rafters in frenzy. Manager Walt Alston of the National League calls Johnny Antonelli to the mound. There still is nobody out as Antonelli faces Sherry Malala of the White Sox. Fowler keeps the rally going with a single. Al Kaline also single. With the left-handed Antonelli pitching, Casey Stengel sends Vic Power of the Kansas City A's to the plate for Vernon. Power flies to Musial. Antonelli then squirms out of the perilous situation when Kell grounds into a double play to end the inning. However, the American League has slashed the National League lead to 5-3. Snyder opens the seventh inning for the National League by striking out. Musial smashes a home run into the seats in left center. Stan the Man thereby regains sole possession of the All-Star record that Williams has just tied in the last inning. For this is Musial's 5th homer in the 13 All-Star games in which he has appeared. After Mays walks, Kluszewski clouts his second successive double with a line drive down the right field line, and Mays races home. It lengthens the National League margin to 7-3 in 7 innings. Herb Score, spectacular young Cleveland southpaw, takes over the American League pitching in the 8th. He walks Temple with 2 out. Temple promptly poses a scoring threat when he steals second base. But the dangerous Duke Snyder lifts a pop fly in front of the plate, and Lala makes a fine catch. Williams leads off the 8th for the American Leaguers, and the crowd is expectant. Ted lifts a fly to short left field, and the fans hold their breath as Musial and Boyer collide. Stan catches the ball, and there is suspense as Musial is slow to get up. Finally, the great St. Louis star does scramble to his feet and slowly walks to his position. However, Walt Alston comes onto the field, and he sends Hank Aaron of Milwaukee in to replace Stan, who gets an ovation from the stands. There is no scoring in the inning, and the American League enters the ninth still trailing 7-3. It's up to Antonelli now, insofar as the National League is concerned. Jimmy Pearsall of the Red Sox is the first batter. He is thrown out by McMillan. Big Power gives the American League an opening when he singles off Temple's glove. George Kell follows with another single. Washington's partisan American League fans buzz with excitement as their own slugger, Roy Sievers, pinch hits for early win. However, Sievers pops to Boyer. Now Harvey Keene is the only obstacle to a National League victory. Keene forces Kell at second base, McMillan to Temple, and the National League wins 7-3. It's the sixth triumph in the last 7 games for the National League in the All-Star Series. It was a brilliant contest marked by highlights of offensive power as well as dazzling defensive play. The fans are talking excitedly as they head for the exits. Baseball truly is the finest entertainment you can find. Follow your favorite teams. Get out in the fresh air. It's fun for the entire family. It's All-Star game time. Heated pennant races in the major leagues are interrupted once again for baseball's annual midseason classic. It's the 24th meeting between the greatest stars of the American and National League. And this time, the scene of the dream game is Busch Stadium in St. Louis, the home of the Cardinals. It's the ballpark where Stan Musial is making history to carry on the legendary lore of such former Cardinal heroes as Joe Medwick and Johnny Mize, the Cooper brothers, the old Gas House gang of Dizzy and Paul Dean, Pepper Martin and Leo DeRocha, Rip Collins, Frankie Frisch, and such earlier Cardinal stars as Rogers Hornsby, Jim Bottomley, and Grover Alexander. This is the 14th All-Star game for Musial, high for any player in the Interleague Classic, which was inaugurated in 1933. Stan leads in All-Star homers with 5. The other glamour figure of All-Star play is Ted Williams of the Boston Red Sox, who is appearing for the 13th time. He has an All-Star average of .361. Ted is kept busy autographing before the game. Official host at this year's All-Star game is August Busch, owner of the St. Louis Cardinals. Commissioner Ford Frick, supreme authority in all interleague competition, is an early arrival. President Will Harridge of the American League is here with Ben Fiery, the league's longtime attorney. Harridge's regime spans the entire history of the All-Star Series. Warren Giles, president of the National League, is bubbling with confidence, as well Eagles have won 6 of the last 7 All-Star games. Others on the National League side are Mr. and Mrs. Lou Carroll. Carroll heads the National League legal staff. Other prominent baseball officials in the crowd are owner Tom Yorkie and general manager Joe Croner of the Red Sox. Also, general manager George Weiss, the man responsible for building championship Yankee teams. Casey Stengel of the Yankees, who, piloting the American Leaguers once more, is the center of a swarm of newspapermen. Walt Alston of the Dodgers, who will direct the National Leaguers, is being interviewed by one of the broadcasters, Al Helfer. Alston will be happy to have a fellow named Hank Aaron of the Milwaukee Braves on his side for a change. Aaron won the batting title in 1956 and also was voted the National League Player of the Year by the Sporting News. Among the American Leaguers, the greatest of the new generation of sluggers is Mickey Mantle of the Yankees, winner of the triple batting crown in his league in 1956. As the players take their warm-up practice, there is a wonderful spirit of comradeship among them. Intense rivalry within each league is dissolved until the pennant races are resumed. Here's Nellie Fox, peppery second sacker of the White Sox, with shortstop Harvey Keene of Detroit. Al Kaline, the superb hitting star and accomplished right fielder of the Tigers, is ready for action. Ernie Banks of the Chicago Cubs. Frank Robinson of the Cincinnati Redlegs. Hank Aaron of Milwaukee Braves. And Willie Mays of the New York Giants. These four sluggers are on the same ball club would guarantee a pennant in any league. They totaled 128 home runs last year. Here's the first baseman with long ball authority, Gil Hodges of Brooklyn. And Cleveland has another in Vic Wertz. Two of the top-flight pitchers of the National League from the arch-rival Giants and Dodgers talk shop. They're Johnny Antonelli, the star southpaw, and Clem Labine, one of the game's most brilliant relief men. And here are two pitchers who have made the Braves a leading pennant contender, Warren Spahn and Lou Burdette. Bobby Shantz of the Yankees and Billy Pierce of the White Sox have a lot in common. These veteran lefties not only are among the smallest pitchers in baseball, but also among the greatest. The starting catchers of the All-Star game, Ed Bailey of Cincinnati and Yogi Berra of the Yankees, get together for a moment before they retire to don their protective gear. With the National League loaded with right-handed power, Stengel decides to start Jim Bunning of Detroit, a slender, side-arming right-hander. The 25-year-old Bunning was in the minors most of the 1956 season, but he began this year in sensational fashion. Alston faces the opposite situation. The American League has four left-handed swingers, including Ted Williams, in its lineup. Alston, therefore, names a southpaw as his starter, Curt Simmons of the Phillies. The veteran lefty hasn't been scored upon in 5 previous innings in all-star competition. And here are the starting lineups for the American League. Harvey Keene, Detroit shortstop. Nellie Fox, Chicago White Sox, second base. Al Kaline, Detroit right field. Mickey Mantle, New York Yankees, center field. Ted Williams, Boston Red Sox, left field. Vic Wertz, Cleveland, first base. Yogi Berra, New York Yankees, catcher. George Kell, Baltimore, third base. Jim Bunning, Detroit pitcher. For the National League, Johnny Temple, Cincinnati, second base. Hank Aaron, Milwaukee, right field. Dan Musial, St. Louis Cardinals, first base. Willie Mays, New York Giants, center field. Ed Bailey, Cincinnati, catcher. Frank Robinson, Cincinnati, left field. Don Hope, Cincinnati, third base. Roy McMillan, Cincinnati, shortstop. Curt Simmons, Phillies, pitcher. The umpires come to the plate, along with the manager, Stengel and Alston, for a brief discussion of ground rules. 6 umpires are assigned, with extra men posted down the foul line, pour out of their dugout onto the field, and bring a roar from the crowd of approximately 30,000 that fills flag-bedecked Busch Stadium to its bulging capacity. But the applause is soon hushed as the band begins the national anthem and the flag is raised in center field. As the final strains of the Star-Spangled Banner come echoing back from the huge scoreboard, there is another outburst from the fans. The air is crackling with a tension of expectancy. Simmons takes his preliminary warm-up throws from the mound, and the 1957 All-Star game is underway. Harvey Keene, the opening batter, flies out to Robinson. But it's different in the second inning. Mickey Mantle gets the first hit of the game by beating out a slow bouncer to Don Hope. Simmons now has Ted Williams to contend with. He walks him. Quick Wirt smashes a single past Roy McMillan into left field, and Mantle scores. Yogi Berra walks to fill the bases. And that's all for Simmons. National League manager Walt Alston calls in Lou Burdett of the Milwaukee Braves. Burdett gets George Kell on a foul to Musial. He appears to be out of trouble when he also retires bunting and a pop-up to McMillan. But then Burdett loses control and walks Keene, forcing in Williams. And the American League leads 2-0. Jim Bunning, meanwhile, has been mowing the National Leaguers down in rapid-fire order. Burdett lines out to Mantle for the last out in the third inning. And that completes 3 sensational innings for the young Tiger pitcher in his All-Star debut. He hurled 3 perfect innings, not allowing a man to reach base. Billy Lowe's of the Baltimore Orioles follows Bunning to the mound in the 4th inning. Hank Aaron collects the first National League hit when he singles to Fox behind second base. Musial doubles off the right field screen, and the National League is threatening for the first time. As Willie Mays, a 500 hitter in these All-Star Classics, is the next batter. However, Mays pops to Fox. Then Bailey grounds out to Bill Skowron, and the rally is squelched. In the 5th inning, the National League team's on the way again when Robinson opens with a single. Ed Matthews bats for Hope and lines the ball to right field. It's a hit, but wait, Kaline scoops up the ball and fires to McDougal at second base. It's a force out of Robinson, who held up thinking the ball would be caught. The hit, therefore, is wiped out, and so is the rally. As Lowe's pitches his way out of another jam by making Ernie Banks hit into a fast double play, Malzone to Fox to Skowron. Jack Sanford, the spectacular rookie fastballer of the Phillies, faces the American Leaguers in the 6th. After 1 out, Skowron doubles to right. And he moves to third base on a wild pitch. Then Yogi Berra singles to left, and Skowron trots home. It gives the American League a 3-0 lead. Kaline helps preserve that margin in the last half of the 6th when he makes a leaping catch off the bat of Shane Dean in the right field wall. Billy Lowe's thereby also completes 3 scoreless innings. An early win of Cleveland replaces him in the 7th inning. After 1 out, Mays singles to left. Bailey singles to right, and Mays dashes to third. Gus Bell of Cincinnati then bats for his Red Leg teammate, Robinson. He wallops a double that Williams finally retrieves in the left field corner. while Mays and Bailey race home. Casey Stengel strolls to the mound and decides on a pitching change. He wigwags for Billy Pierce, the brilliant Chicago White Sox southpaw. Matthews grounds out, scouring to Pierce, who covers first base. With a tying run now on third, Pierce strikes out Banks. The rally is checked, but the National League has cut the lead to 3-2. In the eighth, after Mantle walks, Williams pulls a towering drive to center that seems destined for his fifth All-Star homer, but Mays hauls it in near the wall. Clem Labine of Brooklyn is on the mound in the ninth for the National League. Pierce opens by beating out a hit to Shane Dietz. McDougal pushes a slow roller through the box, and Shane Dietz fumbles this one just as he's about to flip the ball to second base, and both runners are safe. Fox then advances the runners with a sacrifice bunt and misses by an eyelash of beating it out. Kaline follows with a single to center, scoring both Pierce and McDougal. Minnie Minoso, who had replaced Williams in the eighth, comes to the plate with 2 outs. He misses a terrific cut, but not the next time. He lashes the ball off the screen in right center for a double. And Kaline tallies. It extends the American League lead to 6-2, apparently a safe margin, as Pierce has retired 5 straight batters. But Billy suddenly seems to have lost control. He walks Musial to launch the National League ninth. Mays drops a hit down the right field line. And it goes for a triple, scoring Musial. Mays also tallies a moment later when Pierce unleashes a wild pitch. Hank Foyles bats for Bailey and keeps the rally rolling with a single. Pierce also walks Gus Bell, and now the 2 tying runs are on base. Stengel calls a halt and brings in the Cleveland lefty Don Morsey to face the powerful southpaw swinger Matthews. Morsey fires the 3rd strike past Matthews for the first out of the inning. There are no soft touches now. Next up is Banks, plugging shortstop of the Cubs. He smashes a single to left and Foyle scores. But on the hit, Bell tries to dash to third and is cut down by Minoso's beautiful throw to Frank Malzone. Banks takes second on the throw. The National League now needs a hit to get that tying run home. Alston calls on his Dodger home run threat, Gil Hodges, for this final bid. Stengel counters with another pitching change. This time his own right-handed Yankee relief star, Bob Grimm. Hodges digs in at the plate. Next solid leap, but there goes Minoso streaking after the ball. And he hauls it down to end the game and give the American League a 6-5 victory. They're 14th against 10 for the National League. It was Minoso who was the eventual hero, driving across what proved to be the winning run and then saving the game with a magnificent throw, as well as a final brilliant catch. But others shared in the glory, such as pitchers Jim Bunning and Billy Lowe. In fact, the players in both lineups were all-stars, for this is the game in which the greatest in baseball blend into one team effort. For that, in essence, is what makes baseball the national pastime. See a ball game often. Follow your local team. It's fun for the entire family. This is Baltimore, July 8, 1958, scene of baseball's silver anniversary All-Star Game, a magic city in the game's lore. It has known the National League Orioles of the gay 90s, the American League Orioles of 1901 and 2, has thrilled to the exploits in the long ago of John McGraw, Iron Man Joe McGinnity, and Willie, hit 'em where they ain't Keeler. Now this is a new era, and Baltimore, jumping with baseball enthusiasm, is host to the 25th game of the brilliant mid-season series. The motorcade starts forming in front of the hotel for the trip to Memorial Stadium. Fans gather around baseball's greats, eager for a close-up, an autograph, a word of greeting, or a handshake. As always, the crowd arrives early to take in all the colorful preliminaries leading up to the action. Inside, the huge park is a beehive of activity as reporters, photographers, and radio television experts get into the mood of the big day. Beautiful Memorial Stadium on this hot afternoon will be packed to its capacity of almost 50,000. It's been the home of these modern Orioles since 1954. Vice President Nixon, flanked by baseball's leaders, walks to the flag-draped boxes on the first base side of the stadium to watch 50 of the game's greatest players, 25 on each team. Will Harridge, president of the American League since 1931, helped set up the first All-Star game in 1933. His friendly rival for the day is Warren Giles, president of the National League. A neutral is Fort Frick, baseball's commissioner and supreme authority on interleague competition. Grandpappy of the National League All-Stars is Stan Musial, who has an unbroken record of 15 All-Star games starting in 1943. This year, Musial became the 8th player in history to make 3,000 hits. He has won the National League batting title 7 times and has a lifetime batting average of .340. His 16 hits are high for all-star competition, as are his 5 homers. Ted Williams played on his first All-Star team in 1940. He's the only player who has hit a season's average of 400 or more since 1930. A blazing .406 in 1941. Last year, Ted batted .388 for his 5th league crown. A pregame salute to Ted Williams and Stan Musial. This is typical at All-Star time. Players visiting with each other and comparing notes. It's a kind of carnival or out-of-school spirit as they take leave of the pennant races. But when this game starts, the fraternizing will be over. For this is league against league, and the rivalry is intense. Del Crandall of the Braves and many other players capture the spirit of the day with cameras. Rival managers of the 1957 World Series, Casey Stengel of the Yankees and Fred Haney of the Braves, were matched wits today. This is Haney's All-Star debut, but it's no new experience for Stengel. Host for the Dream Game is James Keeley, Jr., president of the Baltimore Orioles. The National League has won 6 of the last 8 games, but the Americans hold an edge in the series, 14 games to 10. The 1958 teams, except for pitchers, have been selected by a vote of players, managers, and coaches. Two fine young players from the Detroit Tigers, Al Kaline, 1955 American League batting champion, and Harvey Keene, who switched from shortstop to the outfield this season, are ready for Stengel's call. From the hard-hitting Chicago Cubs of the National League come outfielders Lee Walls and Walt Moran. Ellie Fox, Peppery's second baseman of the Chicago White Sox, the favorite with the newspaper men. Philadelphia's Richie Ashburn was the National League's batting champion in 1955. It's getting along toward game time now. Warren Spahn, crafty left-hander of the Braves, and Bob Turley of the Yankees will be the starting pitchers. On the rules of the game, they can pitch no longer than 3 innings. Turley has won 12 and lost 3 this season to pace the Yankee pitching department. This is the 3rd All-Star game for the 27-year-old Turley, a native of Troy, Illinois. The 37-year-old Spahn, an Oklahoman, has been named to the National League team 10 times. He is 10-5 for the year, and in a brilliant career has 8 times won 20 or more games in one season, tops for a southpaw in league history. And here are the other starters in the order in which they will bat for the National League. Willie Mays, San Francisco Giants, center field. Bob Skinner, Pittsburgh Pirates, left field. Dan Musial, St. Louis Cardinals, first base. Hank Aaron, Milwaukee Braves, right field. Ernie Banks, Chicago Cubs, shortstop. Frank Thomas, Pittsburgh Pirates, third base. Bill Mazeroski, Pittsburgh Pirates, second base. Del Crandall, Milwaukee Braves, catcher. And for the American League, Nellie Fox, Chicago White Sox, second base. Mickey Mantle, New York Yankees, center field. Jackie Jensen, Boston Red Sox, right field. Bob Serve, Kansas City Athletics, left field. Bill Skowron, New York Yankees, first base. Frank Malzone, Boston Red Sox, third base. Gus Triandis, Baltimore Orioles, catcher. Louis Aparicio, Chicago White Sox, shortstop. The rival managers confer with the umpires and present their lineup cards. The stadium now is overflowing in this capital of Maryland hospitality. Vice President Nixon has the honor of throwing out the first ball. Everything's in readiness now for this 25th match between baseball's best. The nation's top sports writers jam the press box, and adjectives will flow today. The action also will be sent to millions by television and radio. The American Leaguers go to their positions, and it's batter up for the Nationals. It's a single for leadoff man Willie Mays as the ball hits the third base bag and bounces away. With one out, Dan Musial singles, his 17th All-Star hit. And Mays races to third. Hank Aaron, the National League's 1957 batting king, sends Mantle back for a sacrifice fly, and Mays scores the game's first run. Now Turley's in real trouble. The bases are filled after he hits Ernie Banks and walks Frank Thomas, and Casey Stengel is trying to calm him down. But the Nationals get their second run when Musial comes in on a wild pitch. The threat is over when Bob Serve catches Bill Mazeroski's fly while off balance, and the score is 2-0. Nellie Fox leads off for the American Leaguers in their first inning, and he's safe on Banks' high throw to Musial. Mickey Mantle singles to left. Fox feeds into third. Jackie Jensen has belted 24 homers in the first half of the season, but Frank Thomas turns his grounder into a double play, while Fox crosses the plate for the Americans' first run, and the Nationals lead 2-1. With one out in the National second inning, Mays forces Fonz, who had walked. Mays, the Major League base-stealing champion, fields second base and continues to third when the throw by Gus Triandis bounces into center field. Wayne Oleski of the Cleveland Indians goes into action in the bullpen. Bob Skinner singles, and Mays scores for the second time. The Nationals go in front 3-1. And that's all for Turley as Narleski comes in to quiet the rally. One is out in the American League second inning when Baltimore's Triandis singles to center. Little Louis Aparicio forces Triandis to second base, but with his great speed beats the double play throw to first. Narleski singles into center field, and Aparicio pulls up at second base. Nellie Fox drills a single to left, and Aparicio bounces across the plate to cut the Nationals' lead to a 3-2 margin. With Pittsburgh's Bob Friend pitching, Cleveland's Mickey Vernon leads off the American fifth with a pinch single. Fox quickly follows with his second hit, a single to right, and Vernon pulls up at second. When Mantle walks, the bases are filled with no outs. Jensen dribbles the ground to pass Friend. Mazeroski throws him out, but Vernon comes home to tie the score 3-3. An intentional walk to serve proves the right strategy as Banks starts a side-retiring double play on Bill Skowron. Early win of the Chicago White Sox is the new pitcher as the National League comes up in the sixth. Its perfect pitching for the veteran has served backs against the wall for Del Crandall's drive to close the inning. Malzone greets Bob Friend with a single at the start of the American League sixth. Yogi Berra bats for Triandis and pops to Thomas. It's Ted Williams batting for Aparicio. and everyone's safe. Another pinch batter, Gil McDougald, comes up for early win. The Yankee infielder drops a single in short left, and Malzone races in with a run which puts the Americans in front 4-3. That's all for Bob Friend as Larry Jackson replaces him. That's all for the American Leaguers, too, as Banks turns a grounder by Fox into a double play. It's young Billy O'Dell of the Orioles pitching against the Nationals in the seventh, a tough spot in a tight game. Johnny Logan batting for Larry Jackson, lines to Ted Williams in left. Lee Walls bats for Skinner and is thrown out by Fox as the Nationals go down in order. Dick Farrell, the Phillies' hard-throwing relief pitcher, faces the Americans in the seventh. Mantle walks. Farrell blazes a called third strike by Jensen. O'Dell sacrifices Mantle to second. Farrell's strikeout ball works again as he fans Skowron for the third out. Billy O'Dell is going strong as he whips Ernie Banks for the third out in the National League's eighth, grimly protecting the one-run lead. Farrell is matching O'Dell pitch for pitch. Ted Williams is his fourth strikeout victim as the Americans go out in order in the eighth. O'Dell has retired 6 in a row as Thomas leads off the ninth for the Nationals. Vera goes back and takes a foul by the Pirate star near the screen. 1 out. The crowd roars when Mazeroski fans for the second out. This silver anniversary All-Star game is history as Fox gets under Crandall's top fly for the final out of the game. The score, American League 4, National League 3. His teammates for the day congratulate Billy O'Dell, 25-year-old South Carolinian, for his feat of retiring all 9 batsmen he faced. The victory goes to early win of the White Sox, who was the pitcher of record when Frank Malzone scored the winning run in the 6th. It was a unique game, this 15th American League triumph, and its second in 2 years by 1 run. The 9 hits by the winners and the 4 by the losers were all singles. But the crowd of 48,829 thrilled to the fine pitching of Billy O'Dell and Dick Farrell, the dazzling base running of Willie Mays and Louis Aparicio, and the excitement the All-Star game always generates. We'll see you in Pittsburgh in July of 1959, when the All-Stars, the old and the new, will add another page to the glorious history of a dream game come true.
What up, everybody? This is Robert Ory, a.k.a. Big Shot Bob, and you're watching Professional Sports Cards. Hey, by the way, go buy my rookie card.